Alright, so this is going to be a spoiler review for Dexter New Blood, the sequel miniseries to the Dexter television show, which I'm a huge fan of. The reason why is because when I review television, I usually don't give it a rating, but this one infuriated me so much that I had to do a spoiler in-depth review to get it off my chest, because a few nights ago I was actually kept up at night thinking about it. So if you haven't seen the series yet, then don't watch this, or if you want to know why you shouldn't waste 10 hours of your time, then this review is for you. So Dexter New Blood takes place 10 years after the events of Dexter. Dexter is now living under the name of Jim Lindsay in Iron Lake, a small rural cold town. He's dating the chief of police, Angela Bishop, and he keeps his dark passenger at bay by going for runs in the morning with a rifle, aiming at deer and not killing them, and chopping wood. So a lot of physical activity to keep the dark passenger at bay. However, his son Harrison shows up, breaks into his cabin, and he doesn't want to associate himself with Harrison because he's afraid that anyone close to him will die. And we also bring back Deb. She comes back in the form of the same way that his father did. So she's sort of like his conscience that shows up, and she's like, keep Harrison away. Don't let him, come back into your life, or else he'll end up getting hurt. So he sends him away, and then he also ends up dealing with an affluence kid, because Jim now, or Dexter, I'll call him Dexter from now on, but Dexter works at a sporting goods store, and he has to sell this giant assault rifle to this bratty kid named Matt. And then Matt shoots the albino deer that Dexter's trying to interact with on native land. So Dexter loses his temper and knocks out Matt and decides to put him on the table, relapsing and killing him. However, when he's having a conversation with Matt, Matt says that his mom died early and his dad was never around, so it's not his fault, nature versus nurture. Dexter kills him anyway, but then realizes he has to be there for Harrison. He should be there, so he invites him back to the cabin, and that sort of sets up the whole theme of the entire series. A lineage, sort of nature versus nurture storyline that gets explored, because we find out Harrison has the dark passenger, but Dexter is hesitant and keeps him at arm's length throughout the series because he's not sure if he should reveal that he also has that, to explore other options. But also Deb shows up as his conscience to sort of get in his way, sort of. So the first 7 episodes of this show is really good. I really liked the music. They brought Deb back. When she swears, it feels like having dinner with an old friend. The acting's really great. Michael C. Hall. All the new characters are pretty legit, like Angela, the sergeant, Harrison's girlfriend, Audrey. Really strong characters, especially the villain. The villain is played by Matt's father. Is basically a Robert Hansen-like serial killer that they call him the runaway killer, because he offers to help runaways and then traps them in this cabin and then releases them and shoots them. Very similar to Robert Hansen. So that's sort of like the main big bad of the story. However, episode 8 has something really weird that I noticed. In fact, the whole series has this sort of thing. Whenever Dexter makes a mistake, you can chalk it up to him being like rusty from 10 years of not being a serial killer. Like he accidentally leaves a blood trail when he drags Matt around. He starts prowling without gloves on. Little things like that kind of irked me a little bit, because, the show back in the day used to be really procedural. However, in episode 8, Dexter gets jumped by one of the main villain's henchmen, and it just attacks him in the middle of a parking lot and then zip ties him. Dexter crashes the car and then gets chased around by this guy for the whole episode after getting shot in the leg, which I thought was really unrealistic and stretched out for no reason. It felt like an action sequence that should have happened within like 3 minutes, but they stretched it out for the entire episode. And meanwhile, Kurt is trying to lure Harrison, because he's a serial killer too, so he's trying to lure his son in. But we find out that he wants to basically lure in Harrison to kill him as revenge for Dexter killing Matt. So essentially, episode 8 comes to a head with Dexter revealing that he has a dark passenger to Harrison, and after rescuing him from Kurt. So episode 8 isn't that awful, but I just was irked by the plot of Dexter being chased around by some guy with a gun. We've seen Dexter in a tight spot before with the Labyrinth guy or Skinner, but after he gets shot in the leg, the bullet goes right through. They don't even reference it again. That would require therapy, wouldn't it not? A bullet going through your leg. Instead, they just sort of forget about that. So the episode 9 and 10 don't even reference him getting shot in the leg. It wasn't a graze. It was like through the leg. Episode 9 also has another reveal because they take care of Kurt. Kurt burns down their house and tries to kill them, but they're at his place looking for evidence. Then they jump him, they kill him, and Harrison witnesses his first kill. And then they find out that the podcaster girl that's been hanging around was also killed off screen. But the way that they describe her being grabbed doesn't make any sense, because Angela looks for her later at the hotel, and she's already checked out, but all of her stuff is in the safe. So it doesn't really make sense that, like, usually you pack up all your stuff, then you check out, then you leave. You don't check out, then you go back upstairs, pack all your stuff, then leave, and then leave half of it and get jumped in the middle of it. And did Kurt do it himself? Because she already had a confrontation with him earlier, and if it was the hillbilly guy, then, like, when people notice during the day, it was just really messy. They should have left that out. But Molly Park ends up dead, and she's in the trophy showcase room. That episode 9. Episode 10 is where the series really falls down, because what happened is Kurt sends Dexter one of the pins from Matt's body. Matt caused an accident when he was younger with a speedboat, killing 5 people. That's why Dexter allowed him to be on the table. However, when Dexter burns the body, the pins are intact. So Kurt sends one to Dexter and sends one to Angela with a note saying Jim Lindsay killed Matt Caldwell. So she starts getting suspicious. She already found out that he's Dexter Morgan a couple episodes earlier, but all of a sudden she's all like, oh man, needle marks and necks and stuff. I think it feels really contrived, but she finds out that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. And it really feels really like out there, because she went to a police conference earlier in the show, bumps into Angel Batista. He mentions Harrison, and she goes, oh, Harrison, all of a sudden all the necks have wheel marks, but that wasn't a thing in the earlier show. A different drug as well, because Dexter's using ketamine in this one, but he used a different tranquilizer in the show. I didn't hate the fact that she found out. It was the resolution that irked me. So what happens in the finale is that Angela arrests Dexter, and she tries to get him to confess. He gets them to turn off the camera, and he tells them where Kurt's murder house is, like the bunker near his cabin where all the bodies are kept. So she unprofessionally, since her friend, during childhood, Angela's friend was killed by someone, she tried to pin it on Kurt, but he said, oh, the DNA's from my father, so never got justice. So she, very emotional, so she runs off to go find the bodies. And Dexter uses that as an opportunity to escape. So he attacks the sergeant and viciously breaks the neck of the sergeant, which is really out of character. For example, well, for starters, the guy that he puts in a neck hold is a wrestling coach. So I can understand him trying to get out. Maybe he blocked his arm. But Dexter, why would he break the code? Like, even when he was able to attack Dokes, he basically was conflicted because he's not allowed to kill people that don't fit the code. The sergeant guy is a gym coach. He's really nice. He's never done anything wrong. Dexter just viciously breaks his neck and escapes, and then tries to calls Harrison, says we're gonna leave town and just run away. And then in the finale, the final scene of the series, Dexter's like, let's go, son. And then Harrison's like, wait, whose blood is that? Is that Coach Logan? You killed Coach Logan? And then Harrison gets all angsty and then picks up the rifle and says that he needs to kill Dexter because Dexter's out of control now because he's selfish and he's just killing anyone now who gets in his way. And Dexter's like, I've never felt love before, so do it, son. And then Harrison shoots Dexter in the chest, killing him. Angela pops by, tells him to drop the gun, gives him some money, tells him to leave immediately. So that's what left a sour taste in my mouth because the show was going so well. And then little things here and there. Episode 8, the action sequence didn't really bother me too much. 9 with Molly Park being killed off screen. But the finale, the last scene, kills the show entirely because what's the whole point of having the lineage, father-son themes if you're going to reset everything? Dexter's dead. He'll never face justice. Harrison is alone again like he was at the beginning of the series, but maybe he's got a car this time, so it's not a big difference. And Angela also won't get any closure either because she doesn't know that Dexter killed Kurt. It's a very unsatisfying ending that feels rushed and contrived, very similar to the season 8 finale too, where they just decide to shockingly kill someone just for the hell of it. But I even came up with a better ending, something that doesn't require too much a rewrite. The first change would be don't kill Molly Park at all because it just doesn't make sense. It's a plot hole. leave her out, just have her leave town for a little bit. The second one would be, instead of Dexter killing the sergeant, what he should have done was he should have, you know, leaked the bunker, the murder house, to distract everyone. So when they go there to, like, you know, find the bodies, they have to call the FBI, the coroners, the morticians and all that stuff. The families are going to start arriving. Dexter should use his one phone call to call Harrison and say, I need you to get rid of that drug dealer. Earlier in the series, Harrison overdoses at a party. Dexter gets mad and tries to put a drug dealer on the table, but he's interrupted by the cops. So after injecting the dude's neck, he pulls it out and beats him up. That guy's a witness, and that's what sort of led to Angela finding out about Dexter being the Bay Harbor butcher. And also, the drug manufacturer ended up with a needle in his neck too, but he overdosed because the police came too soon when Dexter was trying to finish him off too. So Dexter's sloppy work throughout the show led to his own downfall. So Dexter should call Harrison and tell him to take care of Miles. Make him disappear the same way that Dexter would. No evidence. And that would save Dexter. Angel Batista's supposed to fly in from Florida to, like, you know, build a case so they could extradite him, but the DA wouldn't allow that to happen with so clumsy evidence, because Angela took a photo of the drug dealer's neck and she didn't put it in the proper evidence. She didn't, like, do it properly, and now that the guy's gone, you know, they're gonna assume he left or he fled. Without that witness, they have, you know, a lot of circumstantial evidence, really. So therefore, at the end of the last episode, Dexter should walk, and this is how I imagine the final scene. It should have gone. Dexter and Harrison are driving in the truck, and they're leaving town. They get pulled over by Angela, mirroring the first scene in the series. Angela tells Dexter to get out of the car. He walks over to her. She, like, has her hand on her gun, and she says, you know, I know you're the Bay Harbor butcher. You know, I can't let you leave. And then Dexter should make, like, a statement saying that he's the one that, you know, goes after justice when justice can't be given. You know, if without him, they wouldn't know about Kurt's murder house. And then Dexter should also let her know that he also killed Kurt as well, so he'll never hurt another woman again. You know, Angela should be, like, conflicted because she can't let him go, but she can't just shoot him because she's got a daughter to take care of. Dexter knows this, so he just walks away, gets back in the truck, and they leave. And Angela will have to be the, you know, police chief hero of Iron Lake, and, you know, direct all the families to their loved ones and everything. And then, you know, Dexter and Harrison should drive off into the sunset. That would be a way better finale. The only reason why I think maybe this one happened this way is maybe Michael C. Hall asked to be killed off so he wouldn't have to ever do this again. But I feel like the showrunner really messed up the ending. Honestly, the show was pretty decent for the most part. Got a little sloppy in episode 8 and 9, but 10 really just didn't work. And I get what they were going for, but the whole patricide thing just doesn't work. And so those are my thoughts on Dexter New Blood. It's a full 10 episodes, and it's enjoyable for the most part. It really botches in the last couple episodes, and definitely the finale, mirroring the terrible finale of season 8. So Dexter New Blood, I do not recommend it.